Welcome to the show, everyone, the Report Advantage podcast, where we help you transform the way you communicate and increase your emotional intelligence and build better workplace relationships and your personal relationships as well. Because your personal life is where it's all about. Not the physical money, but that mental and emotional cash that you need to be able to spend and have. And I'm going on tangents, but that's just what I do here on the show. If you haven't listened to our show before, stop it right now. Go back and listen to episodes 2 through 6, and that's going to give you that DISC personality style foundational knowledge that we share here on the podcast as we teach you how to build better relationships, use this emotional intelligence information to be able to adapt your behavior and transform the way you communicate with folks. 4 powerful steps to navigate social distancing by personality style. That's what we're talking about in this 4-part series. We're on part 3 today, and that's talking about our high S's. So when we're talking about social distancing, we're going to talk to you about how S's cope with isolation and how to best collaborate with them remotely in this time of COVID-19 as we're recording this here in late May. So S's styles, their strengths right up front, they are calm, patient, super kind, but they may have mixed feelings about social distancing. Spending more time at home for them in a comfy spot on the couch or in their bed, with the laptop on a pillow in front of them may be great. However, the lack of human interaction may be a challenge for them because it's one of those things where, again, if they're people-oriented versus task, we've talked about this before, I's and S's are people-oriented, they gain energy from being around others. Now, S's don't have to be the ones talking. They're the ones who are listening most oftentimes, but they just like being around other people. So where they're going to be in their comfy spot at home, that's going to be great. Missing out on that human interaction is going to be a challenge for them. It does, however, give them an opportunity to learn to embrace independence and get more comfortable working on their own, so that if this remote workplace, remote learning, whatever we're doing right now as a student or at work in the workplace, if this does become more of the norm, and let's say we start going into the office Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're working from home 2 days a week, and that becomes the norm, then they're building up some tolerance, some endurance for that as they go through. So it's just not going to hit them like a rock in the back of the head, and they're like, what the heck was that? They're going to be kind of ready for it and kind of preparing. So how do S styles best cope with isolation? What can we do to help them? Well, their energy levels may be reduced from being away from friends and family. We've kind of already established that. S styles can find little ways to make use of the time that they have to themselves. And here are a few tips I can throw out to you. Number 1 is talk to close friends, on a video chat format. So a lot of us right now have what we call Zoom fatigue. So we're on these Zoom calls all the time. And so we're seeing people, we're watching people through the screens, and that is, a challenge. But for S's, they really, really enjoy that. So FaceTime, Duo, any kind of those apps, those are all good. Zoom, with video conferencing is great just to be able to keep in touch with people because they need to have those emotional relationships intact and flourishing, even when it's a time of isolation otherwise. Number 2 would be to cozy up with a good fiction book or a show. Like there's tons of things out there to binge watch on Netflix. My wife and my daughter like When Calls the Heart. I don't know about that, but not for me personally, but Hallmark has all those great stuff that's out there. Amazon Prime's got stuff. Netflix, there's a lot of original content that's still out there. Disney Plus is out there now, and go back and you can watch all the Marvel movies in a row or all the Star Wars kind of stuff. So there's all that kind of good thing. Number 3 would be to spend some time journaling. It's a great time for reflection right now in terms of what you're thinking, what you're feeling. How's this changed you? How's this changed your kids, your significant other? What kind of things have you learned throughout the way? Things that you'll do differently once we get out of this. If we come back into it, let's say there's a COVID-20, heaven forbid, in the winter of 2021. How would we face those challenges differently now, knowing what we know now? And then creating some new energizing routines for the time being. Maybe, start a new workout program. Maybe it's, just getting up every morning a little bit extra earlier and having some meditation time, some focusing, some some time to reflect on, the day ahead and what you're going to get done, and just make some positive personal steps to improve yourself. People talk about self-care is such a huge, important thing right now, and I do believe that you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. You can't be a great husband or father until you really get yourself under control. You can't be a great, wife, mother, daughter, unless you're knowing what your limits are and taking care of yourself, getting that sleep, getting that proper nutrition, getting that proper exercise, and taking time for that. Everyone else is going to be better off for that. So the bottom line, it's important that S-styles maintain their close relationships for sure, while also using that time to connect more deeply within themselves. So again, start with yourself and build outward. Now, some tips for how to collaborate remotely with S-styles. Well, S-styles are likely to miss those daily routines of seeing and working in person with colleagues. They love getting to the office in the morning and saying hey to people and checking in and how was your day and how's your son doing and that kind of thing. It's important to earmark some one-on-one time into your calendar for them. They love those interpersonal relationships, so make sure you take some time to do that, and you'll thank me later. This will make sure they have a chance to voice any concerns or ask any questions they have because they like that clarity just like the C's do. Make an effort to help them with anything they may need. Asking questions about their personal life is a great way to engage them and let them know you care. I talk to my C's all the time about people execute your processes. It's great that you've got all these, flow charts and spreadsheets and whatnot, but people are the folks who help you execute those things and get those things done. So take some time to go on the personal side of things. Ask them about how things are going with their family, their friends, and so forth, and you're going to get more buy-in from them. Work on being an attentive listener if they're having any problems, and when they have a chance to express their feelings, they're likely to work more happily and definitely more productively. So anytime they can share, from the emotional side of things, S's are going to be wonderful. I'm a huge high S. If you listen to my podcast, you know that I'm 100 on the 100 scale from an I, but I'm a 92 S. And just yesterday, my daughter, who's going to Winthrop University in the fall, the Winthrop University Chorale put out a video on Facebook. It was where all of the chorale, probably about 30 some odd musicians, very talented singers who normally perform live, in person, did a virtual choir of their traditional song called Flight Song. It's the song that they end every concert with. And I just got really emotional yesterday because of two reasons. Number one, the song was just absolutely beautiful. And my daughter is going to hopefully be a part of that chorale when she gets to Winthrop and be able to share in this experiences with all these wonderful, talented musicians. And the other side of that is, that got me thinking about, my firstborn is going to be leaving the nest. And she's going to be going off to college and making a big transition in her life. And I'm kind of tearing up now talking about it. But just sharing this with you guys in the audience is really great for me because, again, all this information we're sharing today is informational, and that's wonderful. But having the application and really taking that and using it to improve, your workplace life, improve your personal relationships, that's why I do this show. I mean, that's what it's all about for me is giving back. And when I get the responses from you guys through my contact form and through email, say, hey, Alex, I love the episode. Thanks so much. When we post it up on YouTube, people say, it's great content, love it, that kind of thing. That's why I do what I do. It's from that S side, from that emotional side, from the giving to you and having you receive something that's positive that you can take and improve your life with. So that's what I do.
Yes.
And so with that, we're going to end today's episode. If you want to get in touch with us, you can go to my website, alexswire-clark.com. You can fill out the contact form there. Be happy to talk to you. Also, we do sell these assessments online. There's a store page on that website you can go look at. We're also going to be focusing more on the personal side with a product we're going to be putting out here in the summer. It's called the Couples Field Guide, and it's a way for you to be able to communicate more effectively with your significant other, whether that be a spouse, another loved one. It could be a relationship that's estranged, maybe with a parent or a sister or sibling. It can kind of get you on the same page in terms of, that's why they always ... A really great course. I think you're going to love the content with that. You can check that out on my website as well. Look in the link in the description of the podcast, and we'll get that to you. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you for part 4 real soon.
Thanks for listening to the Rapport Advantage podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation on Facebook at the Rapport Advantage and follow us on Twitter at Rapport Podcast.